Okay, welcome back, and now we're going to do some examples of converting from degrees to radians and radians to degrees. So the two conversion factors we're going to use is these two right here. Okay, so if we want to go from radians to degrees, or excuse me, degrees to radians, then we're going to use this formula here. If we want to go from radians to degrees, then we're going to use this one. Notice that all we're doing is multiplying both sides by the reciprocal of this fraction here to go from one to the other. So you don't have to necessarily memorize them both. Okay, so now, here in this example, I'm going to go from degrees to radians. Okay, since I want to go to radians, this is what I want to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the degrees and I'm going to multiply by what? I'm going to multiply by this conversion factor, this unit ratio or conversion factor. Okay, well, it's not really a conversion factor, but a unit ratio. I'm saying that pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. So I want radians on top. So pi over 180 degrees. The degrees cancel. And what do I get? I get 43 pi over 180 degrees. Okay, over 180. And these are in radians. So now all I have to do is plug and chug. So when I do that, I get 234 over pi. No. Hold on a second. No, 0.75 radians, rounded. So this is going to be 0.75 radians. Let me do it here. So this is going to be approximately 0.75 radians. Okay, now what about 60 degrees? Going to do the same thing, right? I want to go from degrees to radians, so I'm going to multiply this by what? Pi radians over 180 degrees. So pi over 180 degrees, the degrees cancel, and now I get what? I get 60 pi over 180, and again, don't forget to use your pi key on your calculator. Okay, don't use 3.14, okay, because that's rounded. Just use your pi key so you get a much accurate answer, okay? Much more accurate, I should say. Okay, and so this is going to be approximately, it's basically pi over 3. Right? Because we're talking about 60-degree angles. And so if you remember, 60-degree angles, well, maybe you don't, but 60-degree angles, pi over 3 radians. Okay? Which is approximately equal to what? 1.0472. Radians. Okay. Now, what if we want to go from radians to degrees? Now we're going to use this equation. So basically, we're just going to multiply by the reciprocal of what we were doing before. So if I want to go from radians to degrees, well, now I'm just going to make sure degrees are on top, radians are on the bottom, so that the radians cancel. So now I'm going to have degrees on top, so I want 180 degrees, and for 180 degrees, that's equal to pi radians. And so the radians cancel, right? And so I end up with what? 1.3 times 180 degrees over pi. And that's going to be approximately equal to what? 234 over pi. So 234 over pi. Oops. And that's in degrees. And that's going to be approximately equal to what? Put it in your calculator, and we get, where is it? 74.5 degrees approximately. 74.5 degrees. Okay, now what if we want half a radian? Well, do the same thing. We're going to take this and we're going to multiply it by 180 degrees over pi radians. Radians cancel, so we end up with degrees. And so we get half of 180 over pi, which is 90 degrees over pi, which is then approximately equal to 28.6 degrees. And that's it. Now, realize that radians is a unitless number. So sometimes we'll measure an angle and we will not put the units. So a lot of times if there's no units, then it's assumed to be radians. If it's degrees, we'll always have the degree symbol. But if we say, hey, the measure of the angle is 70, let's say it's pi over 3, then you can assume that the measurement is done in radians. Okay, have a great day. We'll do some more.